Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I just want to start this video off by saying thank you so much for all the love on my last video. I am totally shocked by how well it's done. I think it has over 10,000 views at this point. I've gotten well over, I think, 50 subscribers plus probably at this point. So thank you to all my new subscribers. I'm glad you're here. I'm so excited to post more this year. I also hit my 500 goal, which has been my goal for probably like about a year now. My 500 goal was like my first stepping stone, milestone that I wanted to hit. And I finally hit it thanks to you guys. So thank you so much for subscribing. I just wanted to add one thing before we get started. And that's I had a couple of comments saying that they wanted more no-buy and book content. And while I will make more no-buy content and book content, so I'm totally down to update and talk more about that kind of stuff in the future. But also, I'm gonna make a whole plethora of content here. I like to make a variety of content about different things that I'm interested in. So if you're into that, please stick around, and I'm so excited to have you here. So let's get into the video. So today I'm actually gonna be talking about the first book so far that I finished for 2025. My goal for this year is to read 20 books, which I know is not a lot, but I'm not much of a reader. I'm trying to get into it, trying to slowly make it a habit for myself. So this is my first finished book of the year. I'm so excited to talk about it. I was shocked at how relevant this book felt reading it. Even now, this book is like 40 something years old at this point, and it's still very relevant. I feel like it's something important that people should read even now in our Lord's year of 2025, and that is the Tao of Pooh, or the Tao of Pooh, I think is technically how it's pronounced. I was really surprised reading this, like I said, how relevant even today that I feel like a lot of the stuff in here is, and how, I don't know, I think this is also important and kind of connects to talking about my overconsumption video. And it really goes over just being content with yourself and the way things are, rather than trying to fill the void with things that don't matter. Like I said in my overconsumption video, buying more stuff doesn't necessarily make you happier, and I think that's part of the lessons that are kind of in here as well. So I'm just going to talk about a few excerpts from this book that I liked. There's still more in here that I think is great to talk about, but I can't go over everything about the book, but we can at least go over a few highlights that, like I said, I feel like also tie into my last video and the themes of my last video. To start in the book, there is kind of an allegory for the three vinegar tasters, this painting that they're describing in the book. The three men tasting it kind of represent the three teachings and their reactions to tasting the vinegar. And that is Confucianism. I'm not sure how to say that correctly, but Confucius, Buddha, and Taoism. When Confucius and Buddha eat the vinegar, they have a sour puss on their face, because with Confucianism, there's this idea that man, or the heavens, I guess, and man are out of step with each other. They're not aligned with the heavens or what is the natural order of things. And then Buddha just believes that life is kind of sour, like real life sort of is sort of sour and not really great. And you have to kind of find your nirvana and like go through that path to find like peace. And then Taoism is much more of, we are in line with heaven and earth. Even if you're not religious, you'll still get something out of this. I know they say like terms like heaven and earth and things like that, and gods and whatever, but don't be turned off by that. It's more philosophical. I feel like it's not too overtly religious, so don't be turned off by those terms. But like I said, Taoism is more about, we are aligned with heaven and earth and nature, and it's really like the things that we bring into our life, like the unnecessary things that we bombard ourselves with, is what ultimately makes us unhappy and discontent with our lives. It's not what is the natural order, if that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense so far. This book, I'm telling you, it's really good. It's totally worth a read. It's an easy, quick read. It's really not long. I did have somebody on my Fable app, I posted about reading this, and somebody was saying that they were kind of scared to read it because they were worried it would be a little bit too like hard to understand. And it really breaks down Taoism by the parable of Pooh Bear, and that's why it's called the Tao of Pooh. So it breaks it down through kind of stories with Winnie the Pooh as the character, as the representation of Taoism. And I'm gonna read the second excerpt a little bit in this book because, like I said, it kind of applies to that idea of filling the void within yourself sort of with these empty things that it feels like you're curing the loneliness, but it's really like, it's ultimately making it worse, and it's making you feel more lonely than you realize. It says, many people are afraid of emptiness, however, because it reminds them of loneliness. Everything has to be filled in, it seems. Appointment books, hillsides, vacant lots. But when all the spaces are filled, the loneliness really begins. Then the groups are joined, the classes are signed up for, and the gift to yourself items are bought. When the loneliness starts creeping in the door, the television set is turned on to make it go away. But it doesn't go away. Some of us do instead. And after discarding the emptiness of the big congested mess, we discover the fullness of nothing. For me, that also like hit home because like I used to be better at it somehow, and I need to get back to it, and just kind of sometimes sitting in the quiet and peacefulness. I think reading really helps that too, is just being able to sit with yourself and not feel like I need to fill with distractions and things like that. I'm really bad about, I constantly have my phone on me, so I'm always like watching a YouTube video or a TV show or something, and it's so easy to bombard yourself and fill that like void to feel like, oh, like I don't have to think about the awkward moments. And then I'm just gonna read the last excerpt that I thought was relevant to this video. We can no longer afford to look so desperately hard for something in the wrong way and in the wrong place. If knowledge and cleverness are allowed to go on wrecking things, they will before much longer destroy all life on Earth as we know it. And what little may temporarily survive will not be worth looking at. And that also kind of goes in hand with, in the book, I think there is they talk about when you're a child and you're in your childlike state of mind sort of, and then you kind of grow up and become an adult and you sort of forget your natural inclinations, I feel like. And it talks about trying to kind of circle back around to not going backwards in a bad way, like not regressing, but ultimately getting back to that natural order of things and doing ultimately what makes you happy. I got made fun of in the last video for saying ultimately too much, and now every time I say it, I'm like, wow, I do say that word a lot. But anyway, like I said, going back to that childlike state in a way, or kind of rediscovering it as an adult, and like Pooh kind of having this childlike whimsy, but also like being able to put your own self aside and help a friend. The book really is about getting back to your natural state, the natural state of the world, and just connecting with nature again, because we are so connected to nature. We are one with nature, but we have to like kind of remind ourselves like how to connect back with nature in a real way and shed like some of these man-made sort of issues. So anyway, that was kind of my take on the book. Let me know if you've read it, what you thought in the comments, and please subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.